family heirloom sword. If you don't believe in your own will, you will never become a general. During the spring and autumn period and the warring states period, a father and his son went to war. The father has become a general and the son is just a pawn. Another burst of horns sounded, the drums and thunder roared. My father solemnly held up a quiver with an arrow in it. The father solemnly said to his son, "This is the treasured arrow of the family. If you carry it with you, it will have infinite power. But be sure not to pull it out. It's an extremely exquisite arrow. The back is made of thick cowhide and is inlaid with a faintly shiny copper edge. One look at the exposed nock and you can tell that it is made of fine peacock feathers. Because of the heirloom sword, my son's confidence has greatly increased. The son is overjoyed and greedily speculates about the arrow shaft. It looks like an arrow, and the sound of arrows seems to be whizzing past my ears. The enemy coach broke off his horse and died. Sure enough, the son armed with treasured arrows is brave and invincible. When the trumpet for Mingjin to withdraw his troops sounded, my son could no longer hold back the pride of victory. Completely abandoning his father's advice, his strong desire drove him to pull out the treasured arrow with a single call. Trying to see what was going on, he was suddenly shocked that there was something inside, a broken arrow in a broken arrow quiver. I have been fighting with only broken arrows on my back. My son was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat. It was as if the house had suddenly lost its pillars and its will suddenly collapsed. The result is self-evident. My son died tragically in the rebellion. Yan's father picked up the broken arrow and spat heavily. If you don't believe in your own will, you will never be a general and rely on your victory or defeat. How foolish to be on a precious arrow, and when a man how stupid. And how dangerous it is when a person hands over the core and handle of his life to others. For example, place your hopes on your children. Place your happiness on your husband. Place your livelihood security on your work unit. Please let your children remember, you are an arrow. If you want it to be tough, if you want it to be sharp, if you want it to be 100 step through the poplar and hit every target, the only one who can sharpen it and save it is yourself. You are beautiful when you hold your head high. Jenny is a little girl who always likes to lower her head. She always feels that she looks good, not pretty enough. One day, she went to the jewelry store and bought a green bow. The shopkeeper kept praising her for looking beautiful in the bow tie. Although Jenny didn't believe it, she was very happy and couldn't help but raise her head. I was so anxious to show everyone that I bumped into someone when I went out and didn't even care. Jenny walked into the classroom and met her teacher head-on. "Jenny, you look so beautiful when you hold your head high." The teacher patted her shoulder lovingly and said that she received many compliments that day. She thought it must be the result of hairpins, but when I looked in the mirror, there was nothing at all. I must have lost it when I bumped into someone when I left the jewelry store. Confidence is originally a kind of beauty, but many people lose a lot of happiness because they care too much about appearance. Please let your children know, don't underestimate a black cow. Its milk is also white. Whether you are poor or rich, whether you are beautiful or ordinary, being happy as long as you hold your head high makes you cute. the kind of cute that everyone likes. 3. Draw a leaf for life. As long as you believe in your heart, miracles will always happen. Although hope is slim, it will always exist in the world. American writer O. Henry told a story in his novel The Last Leaf. In the ward, a dying patient saw a tree outside the window. Pieces of fallen leaves fell in the autumn wind. The patient looked at the rustling fallen leaves in front of him. The body is also getting worse day by day, she said. When all the leaves fall off, I will die too. After learning about it, an old painter used a colored pen to draw a leaf with green veins. The last leaf hanging on the branch never fell off. Just because of this green patch of life, the patient miraculously survived. Please tell your children, life can be without many things, but it cannot be without hope. Hope is an important value in human life. 4. Eternal ticket. There is a person who often travels for business and often cannot buy the right ticket. But no matter whether it's a long or short journey, no matter how crowded the car is, he can always find his own way to find a seat. In fact, it's very simple. You just have to patiently search for them one by one. This method may not sound clever, but it works. Every time, he was ready to go from the first carriage to the last carriage, but every time he doesn't have to go to the end, he will find an empty seat. He said this was because there weren't many passengers like him who persevered in finding seats. Often there are still a few seats left in the car where he is sitting, and in other cars, the aisles and junctions between the carriages were actually overcrowded. He said, most of them passengers are easily confused by the superficial appearance of crowding in one or two carriages. I don't think much about it during the dozens of stops, from the floor up and down the dozen or so doors of the train. There are many opportunities to provide seats. Even if they think of it, they don't have the patience to search for it. A small foothold in front of you can easily satisfy most people. Carrying luggage for one or two seats, some people don't think it as worth the squeeze. They were also worried that if they couldn't find a seat, they would turn around and have a good place to stand. There are no more people in life who are content with the status quo and do not want to make progress and are afraid of failure. You can always stay at the starting point without success. Passengers who are unwilling to take the initiative to find seats, most of them can only stand where they first stopped when they got on the bus until they get off. Children, life is really interesting. If you only accept the best, you will often get the best. Confident, persistent, visionary and diligent in practice, it will give you a permanent ticket to the journey of life. 5. Bird of Paradise and Girl. In 1858, a wealthy Swedish family gave birth to a daughter. Soon, however, the child contracted an unexplained form of paralysis, losing the ability to walk. The girl took a boat trip with her family. The captain's wife told her children that the captain had a bird of paradise. She was fascinated by the description of the bird and wanted to see it for herself. So the nanny left the child on the deck and went to find the captain. The child couldn't wait any longer and asked the waiter on board to take her to see the birds of paradise immediately. The waiter didn't know that her legs couldn't walk, so he just took her to see her. That beautiful bird didn't expect a miracle happened. The child is overly eager. He held the waiter's hand selflessly and started walking slowly. From then on, the child's illness was cured. When the girl grew up, she devoted herself selflessly to literary creation and finally became the first woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. That is Selma Lagerlöf's warm reminder. Selflessness is a shortcut to success. Only in this environment can people transcend their own constraints, release maximum energy. 6. Be studious and tireless. The mouse with only one burrow was quickly caught. On a dark night, the mouse leader led the little mice out to look for food. In a family's kitchen, there are a lot of leftover meals in the trash can. To a mouse, it's like a human discovering a treasure. Just as a large group of rats were digging in the trash can and nearby areas, suddenly there was a sound that made their liver and gallbladder split. It was the cry of a tabby cat. They were shocked and ran for their lives, but the tabby cat showed no mercy, continuously chasing after them. 2 little mice finally escaped and were caught by the big flower. The cats caught them and were about to devour them. Suddenly there was a series of vicious attacks. The loud barking of dogs makes the tabby cat at a loss and runs for its life in panic. After the big cat left, no dog appeared. The mouse leader came out from behind the trash can and said, "I have long told you that there is no harm in learning another language. This time I saved your life." Warm reminder, one more skill, one more pass. Continuous learning is indeed a lifelong commitment of successful people. 7. Be prepared for danger in times of peace. Build embankments before the flood arrives. Jackals will sharpen their knives first in the future. A wild wolf was lying on the grass and grinding its teeth diligently. The fox saw it and said to it, "The weather is so nice. Everyone is resting and having fun. Why don't you join us?" The wild wolf continued to grind its teeth without speaking, making its teeth sharp and sharp. The fox asked strangely, "The forest is so quiet. The hunter and the hunting dog have gone home. The tiger is not wandering around and there is no danger. Why do you have to grind your teeth so hard?" The wolf stopped and replied, "I'm not grinding my teeth just to entertain you. Think about it. If one day I'm hunted by the time a man or a tiger chases me, I think it will be too late to grind my teeth. But usually I just grind my teeth and then I can protect myself." Warm reminder, you should prepare for a rainy day and be prepared for danger in times of peace. This way you won't be in a hurry when danger suddenly strikes. When the book is used, it will be regretted. If you don't enrich your knowledge, you will be stuck in it temporarily. It's too late, and some people complain that they don't have a chance. However, when the opportunity for promotion comes, I lament again that I usually don't accumulate enough now, so that I am not competent and have no choice but to regret it. 8. Are you in the well too? One day a farmer's donkey accidentally fell into a dry well. The farmer racked his brains to find a way to save the donkey, but hours passed. The donkey was still moaning in pain in the well. Finally, the farmer decided to give up. He thought the donkey was old. It's not worth the trouble to rescue it. But no matter what, the well still needs to be filled in. So the farmer invited his neighbors to help bury the donkey in the well. To spare it the pain, the farmer's neighbors each took a shovel and started shoveling the soil into the dry well. When the donkey realized his situation, he cried miserably. But surprisingly, the donkey calmed down after a while. The farmer curiously looked down into the well and saw the scene in front of him, which surprised him. When the soil shoveled into the well falls on the donkey's back, the donkey's reaction was amazing. It shook the dirt aside, then stand on top of the pile of shoveled dirt. Just like that, the donkey shoveled everyone down. All the dirt on its body was shaken to the bottom of the well, and then it stood up again. Soon, the donkey rose proudly to the mouth of the well. Then he ran away quickly amidst the surprised expressions of everyone. Warm reminder, just like the situation with the donkey, in the journey of life, sometimes we will inevitably fall into a dry well. All kinds of sand will be dumped on us. And if we want to get rid of this, the secret to getting out of a dry well is to shake off the silt and then stand on it. Life must go through countercurrents in order to move to a higher level. The most important thing is to always think highly of yourself.